Today, I'm opening up the weirdest looking slime on Amazon and seeing if it needs fixing or not. Hit subscribe and let's get started. Okay, so you know me, I have a problem with buying slime online because I am constantly doing it. But you know what, you guys seem to like these videos, so it's okay. The first slimes that I'm going to open up here are these galaxy slimes. Now, I didn't really know what to expect other than they were little balls. And they kind of look like planets, which I thought was pretty cool. I have to say, I was pretty excited opening these up because they just looked so pretty. From what I could see, there were 3 different color variations of these, and there were 3 lots of 8 of them. And they were all really pretty, but I think my favorite ones were the ones at the top, which were kind of more blue and teal. And because there were a literal ton of slimes, I decided to just open up the ones I like the look of most. I've never had a slime in a container like this before, and it was actually really securely packed. Like, it felt weirdly secure. The containers felt pretty sturdy, but they were also plastic wrapped, and you kind of just had to twist and gently squeeze the container until it opened up, revealing the slime inside. And when opening it, the twisting kind of blended the colors together in this really pretty pattern. I was pretty excited about this texture, and it seemed to be okay until I really kind of started playing with it a bit more. It was just that kind of typical store-bought slime texture, which is kind of soft to start with, but then kind of just goes rubbery and hard. And I was really hoping it wasn't, because these slimes are so beautiful. It's a shame that the texture was kind of just not it. I mean, listen, if you like quite tough slimes that are more of just like a stress ball rather than a slime, then you might like these. But personally for me, I like slime to be a bit stretchier, so I knew that I wanted to fix these. And when I say these, I don't just mean the one I opened, I mean literally every single one from that color pack. Not every single one from the pack though, because I feel like the colors were so pretty here, I didn't want to mess that up. I have to say, I actually really enjoyed opening these up. There's something so satisfying about just popping the slime out into these little round balls. And they all looked really cool in the bowl together. So now that they were all open, we actually had a decent amount of slime to try and fix. They also were kind of like giving me dragon egg vibes, or like dinosaur eggs. But anyway, back to fixing the slime. So the first thing that I wanted to do was just combine it all together and make sure that the textures for all of them were actually all the same. And just checking that the first one I opened wasn't just the one bad one. And unfortunately, it wasn't just the one tough one, because once these were mixed together, it was super tough. The first thing I wanted to do was add some glycerin to it, but I also really didn't feel like that would be enough, so I decided to add some clear glue into it as well, just to try and make these as stretchy as possible again. Surprisingly, I actually decided to not go in with the spatula to start with, and I just went in with my hands. I just knew that this type of slime needed kneading and just like really squeezing together to get the glue incorporated into it. I have to say, although this did take a really long time and my hands did start to hurt after a while, it was really pretty to watch the colors kind of blend together. I did actually have to go in with more glycerin just because the slime was still too tough, and I'm really glad I added this just because it made it really smooth and just a lot softer of a texture. I also want to say something about the color, because I really didn't know what it was going to mix to, because it was a bunch of different colors in the slime, but it mixed to this really gorgeous turquoise color that was like shiny and metallic and just really pretty. Now, I can't lie, I was debating on whether I should just leave it like this and say that this is the fixed result and this is the finished slime, but I decided to add some instant snow into it. Just kidding, I know you guys are a little sick of that, but I did want to add something else to this slime, like a clay topper, so I wanted to get creative with it. Now that I'd opened all of the slime containers, I had a ton of the little plastic balls left, so I thought, well, why not try and use it as a clay mold and try and make it look like one of the planets. I put this really beautiful pigment in that I actually used in my last video and just shook it in the container just so it coated the entire inside of it. I then removed any excess powder and then just filled the container with clay and kind of just like jam shut the lids together. I was really hoping that the pigment was going to stick to this, and when I opened it up, thankfully it did. Well, most of it did, but it looked really pretty and kind of like a kind of ocean planet. I don't know. So the clay topper was completed, but I wasn't done there. I wanted to use these slushy beads I had. I had a totally random idea to fill up one of the plastic balls with these beads to kind of make the slime like a piñata slime, so that I could actually place this inside of the slime, and when I'd play with it, the beads would kind of explode. I started assembling the slime by putting half of it into the container and then just pushing it up to the sides before putting the piñata piece in. I really had no idea if this was going to work or not, so this is totally a trial and error, but I'm just hoping it works. I swirled that around on top, and then just for the final touch, I decided to add some sprinkles to the top of the slime. Just this cute mix to add some stars and then kind of just kept the space theme going. And I even found this really cute astronaut charm to put into the planet, and it looked really cute, especially on top of the slime. I was really impressed with how this turned out, and I always kind of don't want to mix the slime at this point, but I was also so excited to see what the piñata part was going to be like, so I just dug my hand straight in and started mixing. At first, I literally couldn't feel it in there, but when I did, I opened the slime up and then pushed the container apart to release all of the beads. I have to say this was a little messy, and then the slime was kind of getting stuck to me everywhere, but it was definitely a fun touch and something I'd never done before, and it also gave it a really kind of nice soft crunchy texture, which I like too. I think if I do this again, I'm going to try and hide the beads actually in the clay so I don't have to remove a piece of plastic, but either way, I had a ton of fun with this, and it's definitely an improvement from the start. Okay, so next up we have this green vegetable slime kit, which I thought was very weird, so of course I wanted to order it and see what it was like. It came in this pretty cool custom box and then was covered in shrink wrap, and inside there were 6 slimes and then a ton of different add-ins, like a ton of stuff. They were all kind of green and vegetable and garden themed, and I thought it was really cute. And the weirdest but coolest part about this kit is that it came with a little fake broccoli charm and other little vegetable charms, which I thought was so funny. There were 3 different textures in this kit: butter slime, cloud slime, and then a clear slime. But there were 2 of each, and some of them were in different colors, so that there was quite a nice variety of slime here. All of these slimes were shrink wrapped, so there was not really any chance of them leaking, which I thought was nice. So I unwrapped them all before starting with the butter slime. And this was pretty interesting. Like, I really wasn't sure what to expect with this, but it was kind of like a green marbled slime, and the texture was just like a really silky smooth butter slime texture that wasn't too clay heavy, and it kind of had this like sweet peachy scent. I don't know, it was really nice, but I was liking this slime a lot. After that, I decided to open up the cloud slime, which was kind of a neon green color. Now for me, this felt a little bit more like an icy slime. It wasn't super fluffy and drizzly, but it still had a nice texture and had the same kind of peachy scent as the other slime. The next one to open up was the clear slime texture. I was pretty hopeful with this because it looked so beautiful, and I was not disappointed. I mean, the color was gorgeous, the texture was really stretchy. It was just a really nice soft clear slime, and again it had that same kind of peachy sweet scent. Now these didn't really need fixing per se, but I did want to switch things up a little bit and kind of turn them into just one slime rather than lots of little ones. So I wanted to make one container of them just to make one slime. I started off with the cloud slime, mixed those 2 colors together, then repeated it with the butter slime, and then just put the clear slime into the end of the container. I swirled these around, and I actually loved how this looked so much. It was kind of just like a green garden patch. I don't know, I just felt like the theme was still kept, but the colors blended together just looked so pretty. There were a ton of sprinkles to use, but I just went with these with the little rainbows in because I thought they were the cutest, and then just added a tiny sprinkle of some of the glitter that was provided, and then topped the slime with all of these vegetable charms it came with. I was really loving how the charms looked, but I kind of just wanted a little character on there, so I added this cow charm to the middle, and it was perfect. I guess it's kind of like a farm vegetable patch themed slime, which is a really unique theme, and just the colors and everything went together perfectly. I was definitely interested to see what type of texture this would turn out to be once everything was mixed together, and when mixing this, everything just kind of blended together seamlessly, and it was just really smooth. It kind of felt like a cloud cream texture mixed with a fluffy slime. It was just really nice, and I'm definitely glad I mixed everything together to form just one slime, but I really enjoyed this kit. Okay, so this next slime, I really do not remember ordering. I'll be so for real right now. But I think it's kind of a donut-themed slime because it's got a donut charm, some strawberry sprinkles, black glitter, and then it's kind of just like a white plain slime. I immediately opened this up, and the texture was nice, but it just felt a little bit like oily. I don't know how to describe it, and it almost just felt like a little bit unfinished. So I decided to finish it myself and put it into a bowl with some glue and some pink dye. Again, it's not like me, but instead of going with my spatula, I just went in straight with my hands and just combined everything together. This mixed together really quickly, and it kind of just melted down, so I did have to reactivate it slightly, but just after a tiny splash of activator and just a bit more kneading, it turned out to this kind of smoother version of the texture that wasn't oily. It definitely didn't have the same kind of butter slime texture it had, so I decided to add a block of Daiso clay. Rewatching this, I probably should have just added half of it instead of adding the whole block, and it was a little hard to mix in, but once I got it going, it was a super thick butter slime, and really reminds me of like the original butter slime texture, which was very heavy in Daiso clay. I put this into a bigger container and then swirled the slime into it. I added the donut charm and strawberry sprinkles it came with, along with an extra strawberry charm, and then found a tiny bit of red clear slime to kind of give it a strawberry syrup glaze. You can't tell me it doesn't look better now than it did to start with. I mean, you can do in the comments, that's fine, but you're wrong. Not only did this look a lot more like a strawberry donut slime, but it also felt a lot nicer too, and it didn't have that oily texture that it did to start with. I was very impressed with how this turned out, and I really like this slime. Well, I had so much fun opening up these weird slimes from Amazon. There were definitely some weird ones in this video. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to hit subscribe. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.